welcome into another edition of the Sunbelt Syndicate. We've got a very special one for you guys tonight. We have the only ranked team coming into baseball season as Troy, Alabama is at number 25 in the country. I know Seth and Marv are both excited to welcome both Mike and Coach Ben into the show tonight. So how are you guys doing this evening?
We are great. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here.
Very nice. We definitely appreciate your time and joining us here tonight. So we'll kick things off pretty direct. Again, you guys got that number beside your name there, the only team in the conference to be ranked coming into the season. Is that something you welcome? Do you kind of – I don't think you would dislike it, but is there something that comes along both good and bad with it? Or I don't know. Coach, start us off with what that number beside your name means right now.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. Like, it doesn't mean a ton in terms of the grand scheme of things, but I think it's validation just of kind of what we've been able to do since Coach Meade got the job and we came with him in the summer of 21. It's just validation, a little bit of the work that we've put in and have been able to, accumulate very good players and good kids. And, it's nice, obviously. The thing we liked about it is last year we got ranked late in the year in May. This year, maybe it gives our guys a chance to digest it a little bit, which I think is good for them. But also, if you don't get confident from being ranked nationally and the only team preseason in the sunbelt, I don't know if you have a pulse. So, we're excited and we welcome it. And we're pretty happy. Skylar says it all the time. Coach Meade says it all the time. If they're talking about you, it's a good thing, right? Like if there's expectations and, you're being mentioned and all those things, it's way better than, the opposite. So we're fired up to have an opportunity to be in that spot and hopefully play well as we get started on Friday.
Absolutely. Mike, thoughts from you and the guys on being ranked to start the season?
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing just talking about it in the locker room. But we know that we just have to leave it all out on the field. Like most of our seniors said to the younger guys, that we just have to leave it all out there and whatever happens, happens. But it's definitely kudos to the coaching staff and of what they did here at Troy, and we're really excited.
Very nice.
We always ask everybody expectations for the year. Is Omaha or bust? Is that the mindset, or is it just one weekend at a time? Or how do you look at it as a
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's always just one game at a time. Who's ever up on the schedule next is the most important game. But I think we've put ourselves, and our chancellor has talked about it since Skylar was hired in July of 21, is like, we want to go to Omaha. Like that's a vision of the university, but also obviously a vision of Coach Meade and our staff and our athletic department. But it's, we feel like we can see it. We feel like we have the talent to do it. We have the right people, the right coaches, the right administration to do it. Obviously, Omaha's so far away that you don't get there if you don't play well in, for us, February and all the way through. But obviously it starts on Friday. But no, it's fully an expectation in our program now is to compete to go to Omaha.
Just touching on last season a little bit, you don't have far to climb, right? It's easy to see from these numbers why you guys have a number beside your name to start the season. 37-22 overall, 19-9 in conference, 59 RPI, which maybe is the most surprising out of all of those things, right? Because the record's really good. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Obviously, you want it to be better. But when you guys lean on RPI, this is usually Seth's question, but I'll steal this one from him. Is that something you guys aren't really focusing on until the very end of the season, where it's kind of getting into the nitty gritty? Mike, in the locker room, are you guys talking about this? Is this something you guys don't care about as players until it comes down to trying and getting a seed or hosting a regional? I guess just kind of put us into your guys' perspective individually. And again, Mike, we'll start with you on this RPI thing and how much you guys lean into it or pay attention to it throughout the season.
I mean, on the player side, we don't really pay attention to it. I think we just try to handle what we can handle and what's in front of us and winning each pitch at a time and owning each moment. I think that's the biggest thing for us as players. And when we look up and see our record, hopefully it's on the winning side. So that's basically what we come down to. And maybe the coach's standpoint is a little bit different, but as a player, we just try to handle each pitch and each moment at that time.
Coach, is that something you guys really look at?
It's the same thing. I mean, obviously you want to put yourself in a position to where, obviously at the end of the year, you want to be playing your best baseball. But like last year, I don't know if we were truly in striking distance of the RPI. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but, until we went to Coastal and were able to sweep that series on the road and then come home and beat Lafayette. And then all of a sudden you make a huge jump. And so now obviously it becomes a thing, but it's just like anything else. Like RPI doesn't matter if you don't win. So you have to take care of the game that's at hand. And, that's what we try to do. And then, hopefully, with our league, you're going to play top 100 RPIs literally every weekend. So you're always going to have a shot at a good RPI. You just have to play good baseball to earn it.
Yeah, I'll jump in on that real quick. So the Sunbelt Conference was one of only 3 conferences that every team that made their postseason tournament last year was a top 100 RPI. So if you wouldn't mind, both of you guys just kind of talk about the talent level in the Sunbelt, how playing quality competition week in and week out gives you a chance to position yourself to make a postseason run, host a regional, and just, overall elevate your squad.
Yeah, I think coming from the SEC, like, the Sun Belt's not far off. I mean, like the first time in there last year, like going to Coastal and playing teams like Lafayette, like those are good teams, like really good teams. So if your mindset's off a little bit, you're probably not going to win that day. So just keeping your mindset on winning each moment, like that's the biggest thing. Even like just every weekend during conference, like that's just the biggest thing.
Coach.
Yeah, it's a brutal league. I mean, it's filled with great players and high anxiety, right? Like you just have guys at every place that whether it's on the mound or in the box, there's fear that those guys create because, you have the Friday night guys in the league that are all more than likely going to pitch in professional baseball. And you have some guys who come out of the pen, the same thing, the guy from Lafayette last year, Longavin. I mean, that guy probably going to pitch in the big leagues. The year before, the Justin Storm kid from Southern Miss, like, these are real arms that you're trying to navigate through late in a game when you're trying to either come back or hold on to a lead. And it's the same thing with the offenses. And, the Sun Belt, I think it gets the name the Fun Belt for a reason, right? Like great places to hit for the most part. And so those games can sometimes get a little bit tricky where you have great pitching staffs, but sometimes the wind's just blowing on a day that is going to create some runs and some offense.
The fact that you guys are ranked, but then you look at the coaches' preseason poll and you came in second to Southern Miss, and Southern Miss has put, I think, 5 guys on this Sun Belt all preseason team. There's not a single Troy player on there. Mike, specifically for you guys as players, does that help fuel you a little bit? Not necessarily, well, maybe it does. Maybe it is disrespectful, but, in one way or another, do you guys get pumped about something like that? We're like, hey, we got some respect, but we don't have enough, and it's going to keep driving us? Or is that something you guys, again, kind of like the RPI, just don't pay attention to much of that stuff?
I mean, we obviously see it, but when you play for a guy like Skylar Meade, you better have confidence right when you step in the door, no matter what you're doing. If you're playing basketball at 5 o'clock in the morning at the end of the fall, playing 1v1 versus each other, or shoot like just a regular shooting game, like, you better have confidence, like, when you step on any field, like playing for Skylar, like, that's his biggest thing. So I think if you don't have confidence, you don't, and they talk a lot about trust. And if you don't have those 2 things, then you won't really be on track.
Coach, you guys just notice that type of thing too? Like, hey, we're 25, but we didn't even get picked in this conference. So we're still going to use that as fuel in the locker room for these guys to, a little extra boost or whatnot.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, it's the highest we've been picked. So, you can look at it that way too. But there's good teams in the league. Like Southern Miss is obviously a very, very good program and good team. And there's really good players. And some of our guys weren't on there that maybe we thought should have been on there, but we always just say we're a sum of our parts, right? Like we have good players, but we're better when it's everyone who's contributing, whether it's the lead off the 9-hole, the Friday guy, or, the guy who comes in the 7th inning. So we want our guys to play their part. And, at the end, we'd way rather win a championship or play in postseason and all that stuff than have player of the year, all conference guys.
Seth, I interrupted you, so go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Digging into the schedule just a little bit. What's some midweek games that excite you guys? What are those games that are going to boost the RPI? What are we looking forward to the most there? Mike, what do you think?
Well, we can start off with the first midweek. I mean, we're going to play Auburn, which should be fun. We play Alabama, so it's going to be fun too. We go to Virginia Tech, which is going to be an awesome time going up there. But I think like the excitement in the sunbelt is mostly the conference games. I mean, the conference games are really the best thing because everyone's throwing their top arms on the weekend. So, I mean, we're going to take it game by game, but those are probably the three that are the best midweeks.
Coach, you guys get excited about midweek games, or is it just, hey, every game's an opportunity for us to show what we've got? Doesn't matter who we're playing.
Yeah, I think we're fortunate, right? Like being in the Sun Belt, every single one of your games matters, whether you're playing someone from the SEC or, a different league. Like they all matter to us. And I think we have to take that mindset if we want to play into June. And our guys understand that, right? Like that's why they choose Troy. That's why they choose to play in the Sun Belt is, I've been at places where you play a Tuesday game in April and it just doesn't mean anything. It does because you want guys to play. It just doesn't. And we're fortunate to where a Tuesday game in mid-April that a lot of places it may not mean something. For us, it's a huge game, right? It's a huge game. We have to play well and we need to put ourselves in a position to win so that we get a chance to play in postseason.
Is there any talk about just going through the schedule is funny. Like you said, you play Auburn, Bama, UAB, Jacksonville State. Is there an unofficial state championship you guys are playing for here too? Because it feels like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here. We want to be the best team in the state of Alabama. If we do that, then we're going to put ourselves in a position to play late into the year. Obviously, with just the amount of wins you accumulate, but also those are good programs. So you beat them and you find yourself in a spot. But yeah, we'd sit here and lying to you if we said those games don't move the needle. It's the state of Alabama. We want to do our part and win. And it's funny, being at Troy, it's South Alabama being the Sun Belt, that's the rival, I guess. But, a lot of people around Troy, the big rival's Jacksonville State. That's the old time rivalry from years ago. So there's a unique little, rivalry with all the schools in our state. So yeah, we want to play well and put ourselves a chance to win.
Yeah. I feel like you guys are also just considered maybe not as much of a rival, but Southern Miss is close enough. I feel like it's also a heat there, and that's, again, like you said, Fun Belt for a reason. It's geographically nice for you guys in a lot of different ways. Mike, you used to play at Auburn. So what kind of excitement or anticipation comes along with playing your former team? Did you guys play them last year as well? Or is this the first time getting a shot at them since you left?
We did. We played them last year as well. Okay. I think it should be fun. I mean, a couple of my buddies that I'm still buddies with that go to Auburn, they'll be there. And my friends from Troy are going to go to the game. So it's fun playing just in-state where it's going to be a crowded and pretty sold out spot. So it should be fun wherever we go.
Absolutely. I know I'm looking forward to that one specifically for you after seeing your history about, coming in and getting right into it from a guy from New Jersey who comes down and then, starts playing for Auburn and now playing just down. What was it, an hour and a half at most from one school to the other? Or is it less than that?
It's probably an hour and a half. Yeah.
Okay.
Mike, the drive. You make it all the time. Your girlfriend.
Yeah, my girlfend plays soccer.
You don't know the drive.
It's about an hour and 48 minutes if you want to be exact.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, he's got it clocked. He's like, well, if you want me to tell you, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Marv, you got a recruiting question I think you like to usually ask here.
Yeah, so Coach, this is for you, and then Mike, I'll kind of follow up on your journey to get to Troy. But, when you look at the landscape of college athletics now with NIL, transfer portal, and the way you build a roster, obviously when you're looking at a kid, it's, do they feel a need? Are they a right fit culturally to come down here? But how does the transfer portal, how does that change your mind when you're recruiting a high school kid, ton of talent, but it might take a year or two to get them, in the weight room or get accustomed to college arms versus knowing the fact that you can go to JUCO or you can go get a guy who was at a different program, who's seen college arms, taken college at bats, and plug and play right in. Does that sway your recruiting process at all?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially for us, we feel like our niche has been, I mean, not that we don't have great high school players, because we do. I mean, Brooks Bryan, Peyton Watts, those guys are high school guys who have been big pieces for us. But a lot of our success on the recruiting trail has been the JUCO kid. And Troy's always gotten really good junior college players. And then now with the transfer portal, like, we've had success in it. And so for us, not to say we won't recruit high school players, we will still. Now the classes may be a little bit smaller, but we are going to put our efforts into the junior college and portal route for sure. One, the Sun Belt is just an older league, but two, we just for the way that we recruit and how we've built our roster of, when we got here, there's 3 states on our roster, and now there's I think it's 22 with 3 different countries. Just because of Coach Meade and, where we come from and our paths. So we've created that. Now there's kids who come from all over. So it's not new for a guy to just come to our place and be like, well, there's no one like me there. So we've been able to do that. And so the portal's been good for us in terms of that. And, we think if you come to Troy, it's because you want to play baseball and win, and so that's kind of the way we've been able to do it. Now, that's not to say we think our 24 high school class is filled with, studs, like really, really good players, guys that will play this spring that will become household names very soon, we feel. So
let me ask a follow-up question to you before we move to Mike. How do you think the brand of Troy baseball, the success that you guys have had, how do you think that impacts JUCO guys or transfer portal guys? I'm sure people are probably reaching out to y'all, but just the brand of Troy baseball, how does that help you when you're going and getting a kid that's already played some college baseball?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, for us, we've, Skylar is a master marketer. Like he's really good. He's really good to say to people who come in our building all the time, the guy's just a unicorn in the way he treats people, talks to people, communicates with people, which I think has built the brand in itself. But, I think now we kind of maybe get indoors that we didn't get into in the summer of 21 or even the summer of 22. And we've gotten some portal guys Zach Fruit, who came to us, who came from a school up north and maybe didn't have a ton of success and comes to us and he's a 9th rounder and he's tearing it up in pro ball. And, we think he might pitch in the big leagues someday. So we've had some of those success stories and some JUCO guys on the offensive side as well, which I think makes it easier for a guy to decide, Troy's the place when maybe it wasn't that way when we first got here. And, it's just a good place. They built us a $13 million stadium. The fanfare is unbelievable. And it's just a good place to play baseball.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Mike, we were talking earlier, you're from New Jersey, played at Auburn. Kind of just talk about your journey to Troy and how you got there.
Skylar was the second guy that recruited me out of high school. The first one was Carl Nonamaker, and it was kind of different. Like going back now, I don't know if I would have went away from Skylar, but my time at Auburn was great. I mean, my freshman year, we were in Omaha, started in Omaha. It was a good time. I mean, I definitely want to get back there this year with the guys that we have, and I think our roster can do it. And we definitely have the coaching staff that is capable of doing everything above and beyond. So, yeah, that's kind of how I ended up at Troy. And then going on my visit right before I committed, just meeting Coach Wolgamot and just learning his philosophy about hitting, and I just kind of fell in love with it. So,
very nice.
Yeah. Yes, Skylar recruited him at South Carolina.
Yeah, that's what he was telling us before. So I guess he just stayed in touch with you. Was there you called him like, hey coach, I'm thinking about transferring, or was he? How does that process work?
Well, we follow the rules. So once he went in the portal,
yeah, of course.
Once he went in the portal, obviously Skylar saw the name, and we tried our best, and obviously we got him. I tell him I don't know how you told Skylar no the first time, man, but whatever,
Yeah, no.
You gotta, Mike. We kind of know a little bit of the backstory, but because we talked about it before we started recording, a guy from New Jersey who's played for both Auburn and Troy now, but you've got the white and blue W behind you flying on the wall. You've got to tell people about maybe why that is, or are the Cubs also your favorite team as well? But tell us a story about the W flying behind you.
Well, this is not my room. This is my roommate's room because I didn't have a desk in my room. But Grady Gorgon is a left-handed pitcher, and he's a big Cubs fan too. So
okay, but you also had experience there, right? Is that what?
Benny's a Cubs fan as well. So
yeah,
at Team USA we played at Wrigley Field, and it was a good time. But I'm a Yankees fan.
Okay, that's what I was going to get to next. All right. The evil empire. I knew it. No, I'm just kidding. I think Marv and Seth, you guys are both Braves fans, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Phillies fan.
That's right.
I'm a Phillies fan.
Well, we can only move so much, Marv. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Hey, this year's our year.
There you go. You keep telling me that.
Who's some dudes to look forward to this year that's going to stand out for Troy? That's carrying some big expectations for the year.
Well, I mean, you don't want to put too much expectation on these guys, right? It's hard. Baseball's so hard.
Hey, you got a number 25 in front of you, coach. You got to have somebody.
I know. No, we have really, really good players. Brooks Bryan is an absolute stud of a player, but also a rock star of a kid. Left-handed catcher. I think he was top 5 in the country in RBI or played on Team USA. He's a really good player, and he leads our team, right? Like, he's a catcher, tough guy. Guys kind of follow who he is. But then you return quite a bit on the mound with Gary Gaines, who has pitched on Friday nights for us I know he did it his freshman year before we got here, sophomore year with us. And then last year and this year he will as well. And Grayson Stewart and Jay Dill and Peyton Watts playing shortstop, Mike and Shane Lewis is back. That's a guy who arguably had one of the greatest sunbelt seasons in the history of the sunbelt in 23 with the 27 homers and the things that he did to help carry us to a regional that year. So yeah, we're fortunate. We have really, really good players. We have some young guys who we think are going to step up and be very good players. Jimmy Janicki's a freshman from Chicago. And it's just different, and obviously he's a freshman. There's going to be growing pains and all those things. But when you talk about physical abilities, there's not much that guy can't do. So we're excited to get a chance to watch him play. And, the big thing too is not just the superstars, but even guys like Mike, like they embody what Troy baseball's about. They're tough guys, they're stick their nose in everything, and they'll fight to the end. And, we're fortunate to be filled with a lot of those guys. And when you have guys like that and they are superstars as well, I think that's why you have the success you had. And, Mike hit on it. Like Coach Meade does an incredible job to create confidence in these guys and get them to play at a high level. But we have really good players, and it's, we lost a lot of good players as well. And I think for us to be able to add what we have through the portal, through JUCO, through high school, I think it says a lot about the direction we're going.
Absolutely. Shout out to Grayson Stewart, one of the only guys I know that got married while he was still in college. But yeah,
he he called me, said, some things popped up. I'm like, I get it, man. I've been married for a while now, so I understand when things pop up.
Yeah, cool. They will continue to pop up too.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, a question for you guys: what is your favorite away venue to play at in the Sun Belt Conference? Whether it's the facilities, the atmosphere, the travel, just a place that maybe you don't like playing at because of the crowd, but you actually enjoy the experience at the end of the day.
Before you answer, I think we all know, but go ahead.
I'll go. Well, one, I like Coastal because the ball flies and I'm a hitting guy. But in terms of just environment, I think it's pretty easy. Southern Miss is just a great place to play. I mean, their fans do a great job. They're engaged in the game. They understand baseball, and they care. They really care. And so that's always a cool atmosphere to play in. But I think that's probably the easy one. Lafayette's a cool place. They got their little thing they do in the 7th or 8th inning, whatever it is that they do that, it's just unique. And we tell our recruits all the time, like when they come, like this Sunbelt's different. Like every place is unique, right? Like you got Lafayette and the things that they do. We have doubles alley at our place. Georgia Southern has the deal in right field. Southern Miss has the right field roost or whatever they call it. So it's just, Texas State's got the little train and right or down the first baseline or whatever that thing is. So there's all these places that have a uniqueness to them that our guys are fortunate to play at. So it's every place is just a little bit different, which is nice.
How about you, Mike? Where do you look forward to playing on the road every year?
I mean, I like playing at Troy the best, if I can be honest with you, but on the road.
That's home, man.
Yeah, no. On the road, I liked App State and then Coastal Carolina. I mean, it's fun playing everywhere in the Sun Belt because it's mostly all hitters' parks. And being a left-handed hitter, it's fun hitting at all those places. But I'm really excited about going to Louisiana, Lafayette. So that should be fun.
You didn't play – you hosted Louisiana last year.
Yes.
Yeah. So that Louisiana has been like the overwhelming popular choice because apparently there's a group of fans that feed you very well after the game.
They do. And you can ask all of I'm a super picky eater, and they handed me that styrofoam whatever plate, and I'm like, what is this? And I get on the bus, I'm like, well, it's been a long day. I guess I'll eat it. And I'm like, can I get seconds? It's good.
Mike, after that series, we'll have to get you back on. You can tell us about the I think they call themselves the Louisiana Cooking Club.
Yeah, great
Sure,
people. Like we were fortunate enough to go down there and win 2 out of 3 2 years ago, and they treated us like we were one of them. It was wild. It just wild because obviously they really really want to win there, and they were incredible people.
Yeah, I got to experience. I've been down there for football only, and I've never seen or heard this from any other fan base in my life. We're having a few drinks and food before the game with a bunch of Cajun fans mixing it up, right? Like you said, very inviting people. All they could talk about, their football team was great. They were about to beat App State that night on national television, and they were having a phenomenal year. Before Napier left. All their fans wanted to tell me was, you got to come back for baseball. You got to come back for baseball. And I'm like, we're at football. The football is the biggest thing in the country. And you're telling me to come back for a baseball game because that's the bigger deal here. So, yeah, it really is that big there. But like you said, the rest of the Sun Belt really isn't far off. I mean, at least those top few teams have just crazy atmospheres, pretty packed ballparks, stuff to keep people there and be entertained. And so it's a conference that we want to push out into the national spotlight even more because we think it deserves it. And it's a lot of fun to watch. Speaking of that, Coach, you played at Purdue. Is that correct?
That is right.
So I was reading, and this is almost unbelievable stat line that they pulled up. And I'm sure you're familiar with this. When you played in the lineup, you were 30-15 as a team. When they played without you, they were 2-11. So what's your secret sauce? How much of that are you passing along to these guys that are playing for you these days?
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, it was all me, right? Yeah, that's why. Those first 13 games, I think we played like 8 of them against like a top 3 team in the country. So the guy in front of me, he was the unfortunate fool who had to play against them. And he did not do so well. And I got to play against all the other teams. So that may be a little bit of the reason, but, I'll go with, I was the catalyst, right? So there we go.
There you go.
That's a good phenomenal. I mean, that's a deep dive there.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I'll ask this question, and you can just be as honest as you want to with us, but we're arguing for conference supremacy, right? You've got SEC and ACC. They're always going to put the most teams in for the most part. You got the Big Ten out there, and historically, they've got championships. They've had teams go to Omaha lots of times, but that's been further and further in the past now. And my argument has always been it's time to replace that thought process of the Big Ten being above the Sun Belt, because when you break it down over these past few years, the Sun Belt has been more successful overall. Now, I'm not saying that, the Big Ten's best team doesn't beat the Sun Belt's best team. That could still happen. What I'm saying is conference top to bottom, I think the Sun Belt should be up there in that conversation a little bit more than Big Ten. But you're a Big Ten guy, so that's why I'm asking you this question, because I want to hear, is there still a little bit of that Big Ten pride in you, or are you now fully bought in on this Sun Belt stuff?
No, I'm a Big Ten basketball guy. I enjoy watching Purdue hoops, but no, we love the South. My wife gets to see me for the first 5 weekends of the year, right? We don't have to hop on a bus and be gone 5 days a week. The only thing I'll say, and I mean, obviously those leagues, that league has they have great facilities. They have all those good things. Is I just know last year, and I don't know if I'm going to say it, I don't care. We went up to Indiana and it was like literally 15 degrees and we played them and we took 2 out of 3 on it. Yeah. And 2 years ago they came down to us and we swept them. I personally think, and obviously I'm biased now. I think Sunbelt baseball is up there with anyone in the country. And I know obviously the SEC and ACC, they're the best 2 leagues. There's no question. But I've seen the Sunbelt and the teams in it, and Coastal Carolina made a regional and played well in the regional. They finished 7th in our league last year. Yeah. So I think when you look at it that way, it's like how many 7th place teams in a league are going to go into a regional? And I believe they beat Vandy and, played very, very well. And obviously great program, great players, but they finished 7th in our league. And I think that's nothing about them. It's more about how good the Sun Belt is and how tough it is to play on our road, because like the unique environments, every place is different. And I think it just says a lot about how good the league actually is. We get 4 bids every year. I think the Sun Belt's starting to really, get what it deserves, and hopefully we can continue to keep pushing it and all that good stuff. But it's really good baseball. And I think the biggest thing of why it's better for people is people can actually come watch us, because they don't have to wear 12 layers to watch baseball, which no one wants to do that unless their team's in the World Series.
We do. Up here.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, follow-up question. How much does it suck to have to play baseball in 15-degree weather?
Yeah, I was going to chime in and say, like, if you're from New Jersey, you want to go to the South to play baseball because you can just play year-round. Like, you don't have to take a break.
The one thing I'll give them credit is they had the nicest heaters in the world. I'm a fair-skinned guy. I think I got a sunburn from the heaters. I was so close for the whole weekend. So that was the only way I was going to get through it. If they played it right, they shouldn't have given us any heaters.
I got a question, and this is a little ignorance on my behalf on BB Core bats. My kids play competitive baseball. You're not using a U-Trip composite bat in 15-degree weather. You got to go single-piece alloy. Is BB Core the same? Do you have to switch your bat up when you're playing that cold?
That's a good question. I know the BB Core growing up, like the bats now, you want to hit with them as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because it kind of breaks them in, right? Like I remember growing up, you get a Easton Stealth, and it's like, I am only using this when I'm at the plate, because those things would break in a heartbeat. Then you'd have to send it back, especially when it was cold. I mean, just wasn't good. So, but now I don't know how that works. I know you want to.
Like any truth that or is my son just lying to me? So I have to buy him 2 bats every season.
He's a smart kid. Yeah, smart kid. Yeah, smart kid.
Do you have to change your bat up in cold weather?
Not really. I swung the 2-piece mostly my whole time playing.
Okay.
The first time I started swinging a 1-piece was, I think, my freshman year. I swung Easton 1-piece, and last year I swung that 1-piece too. So, but this year I'm using the 2-piece. I like the 2-piece feels better to me. If you get jammed, it don't hurt as bad on your hands.
I'm gonna go sell my son's composite bat when I get home.
A good move, yeah.
Yeah, you need parts for that golf cart there, big guy.
Yeah, well, the golf cart doesn't get used. It's baseball season now. We don't have any free time.
There you go. Well, these guys know nothing about that. They got all kinds of free time now that the baseball season's here.
Yeah.
Oh man. One fun question that we like to ask and just get some thoughts on is banana ball. Savannah Bananas kind of taking the baseball, news by storm here. Now they've got a whole league built around these crazy rules and this crazy entertainment value aspect. Do you guys get into that? Do you like it, appreciate it? Have you seen it live? Mike, let's start with you. Maybe you guys some interest in playing, as Marv likes to ask some of the guys too when they get a shot at this after college or something.
Some of my old teammates, I think Butcher, the meat man, he was trying to play for them, but one of my teammates from my sophomore year, Caden Green, he played for them. I've never seen him. I've seen a lot of videos, but I think it's cool. I mean, it's a good way to show the game in a different angle, and that's always fun.
Where is Butch now?
So Butch he's here in Troy. He just graduated. I think he graduated in December, and he's playing indie ball. He's going out to play indie ball, so he's still around. He comes in shags. He's working out in the outfield now, so he's doing some of that stuff, hitting in the cages.
My man could hit a baseball.
He's the meat man. Yeah, he could whack it. He was one of those portal guys, right? He did it at Charlotte, and we were able to, maybe get, we got quite a bit out of him. But just a good dude.
Coach, what are your thoughts on banana ball? Do you enjoy it? Or are you a baseball purist and don't?
No, I think it's great. We haven't been able to go. So we've had guys play when it was in the Coastal Plains League for them.
Okay.
And then, Tyler Gillum was a junior college coach out in Arizona, so we would recruit some of their players, and he's a good dude. It's crazy what he's built. And now they're, doing teams all over, like a little league or a league, I guess. I have 2 daughters, and they would probably prefer that over, going to watch a regular baseball game. Now, we have not done that yet, but it's definitely something, we want to do. They've been incredible. We have a kid now, and hopefully he, gets into professional baseball and plays for a long time. But we have a kid, Jacob Wax. He's an infielder, and I think he would be an absolute star for the banana ball. He can do things defensively on the infield that I've never seen before. Like, he's a guy you just hit ground balls, and you're like, I could just sit on a chair and watch him take ground balls for 3 hours because it's just impressive what he can do, just the way he moves and all that stuff. But I've told him a couple times, I'm like, man, I think you could do it, and I think you'd be good at it. You have to come out of your shell a little bit, but in terms of the baseball side, he'd have no problem.
Well, that's what I was about to ask Mike, because as soon as you said his name, he lit up with a big smile, and I'm like, this guy's got to be a goofball that just makes y'all laugh or something too. Like, he's probably just got personality for days or something.
Like, when he's taking ground balls, it looks like he's dancing out there, like doing like weird moves and stuff, but it's smooth. Right, Ben?
Yeah, no, it's impressive. I mean, it's as impressive of an infielder as you'll see in college baseball, just how he can, manipulate his body, catch balls a certain way, throw from literally every angle. He can undershoot it. He can throw it over.
We lose him?
I think it froze up there.
Uh-oh. He'll probably come back on here in a second. What?
Mike, I got one last question for you. Baseball season starts in 2 days, man, less than 48 hours. How excited are you? How excited are the guys to get the season underway?
We're really excited. I mean, we feel like we have a lot to prove, but with the guys that are on our roster and the new guys that came in this year, we think we can do a lot of really special things. And with the leaders and coaching staff that we have, it's going to be really exciting, and it should be a lot of fun. We just have to stay in the moment and own each moment. And understand that we just have to win each pitch right in front of us, and everyone just do their job, and we look up, and hopefully we're winning that ball game.
Nice. We got you back, Coach?
Yeah, I think I guess I left for a second.
I'll ask you the same question I just asked Mike. Less than 48 hours till first pitch. How excited are you to get the season underway?
Yeah, I mean, it's always exciting when you get to the park and people are putting up the signs and, cleaning the stadium and just getting it ready for opening night. So I think it's exciting, and, you get tired of, and I know everyone says you get tired of playing this, the inter squads and all that stuff. You're ready to see someone else, but we're ready to see our guys go out, compete and do.
Uh-oh. He hit the transfer portal again. Mike, you can tell him that he wasn't around when the transfer portal was happening for baseball, but he's hit it twice here tonight. Oh, he's back again. I think.
I'm trying a different one. I got
There we go. We just said you hit the transfer portal for the second time tonight, so you got some experience in the portal now.
It's unlimited now, right? Golly.
Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, we are excited to get you guys going. Oh yeah, we are excited to get you guys going. See number 25 hit the field and see how far you can climb up those ranks as the season gets going. We really appreciate your time and efforts to be on here tonight and preview you guys' season. And we definitely wish you all the best of luck. And we'll be tuning in here starting this weekend and see what you guys got.
Awesome.
We
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks for being on, guys. Really appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.